we all need to take responsibility. And this includes executives at major financial firms who turned to the American people hat in hand when they were in trouble, even as they paid themselves customary lavish bonuses. As I said last week, this is the height of irresponsibility. It's shameful, and that's exactly the kind of disregard of the costs and consequences of their actions that brought about this crisis, a culture of narrow self-interest and short-term gain at the expense of everything else. Widely distributed risk. As part of the reforms we're announcing today, top executives at firms receiving extraordinary help from U.S. taxpayers will have their compensation capped at $500,000, a fraction of the salaries that have been reported recently. And if these executives receive any additional compensation, it will come in the form of stock that can't be paid up until taxpayers are paid back for their assistance. My administration will do whatever it takes. Companies receiving federal aid are going to have to disclose publicly all the perks and luxuries bestowed upon senior executives and provide an explanation to the taxpayers and to shareholders as to why these expenses are justified. And we're putting a stop to these kinds of massive severance packages we've all read about with disgust. We're taking the air out of golden parachutes. As I said last week, this is the height of irresponsibility. This is America. We don't disparage wealth. We don't begrudge anybody for achieving success. And we certainly believe that success should be rewarded. But what gets people upset, and rightfully so, are executives being rewarded for failure, especially when those rewards are subsidized by U.S. taxpayers, many of whom are having a tough time themselves. For top executives to award themselves these kinds of compensation packages in the midst of this economic crisis isn't just bad taste, it's bad strategy, and I will not tolerate it as president. We're going to be demanding some restraint in exchange for federal aid, so that when firms seek new federal dollars, we won't find them up to the same old tricks. Thank you very much. On the ledger lines of once mighty financial institutions and on the pink slips that have upended the lives capped at $500,000.
You start paying people $100 million, $250 million a year. I ask the question, for what? Is there a stopping point? I mean, you stop and reflect back. The President of the United States makes $400,000 a year. As a matter of fact, there's some sentiment in Congress that there should be a limitation of salaries at $400,000. Now, that would not simply be perhaps the financial institutions, but all across the board. And I don't know that that's necessarily so bad.
Some restraint in exchange for federal aid, so that when firms seek new federal dollars,